He's in the cloud.
Tammy, I have 7 o'clock. We'll call the meeting to order. Previous minutes.
And a motion that we accept the minutes as emailed out by Tammy.
Okay,
I'll second.
trying to think of who was here.
Just the three of us. That's it.
Okay, it was us three.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
just making sure.
Yep.
So motion has been made and seconded. There's no other discussion, I assume. So we'll call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Abstain, wasn't here.
John West abstains, wasn't here.
Thank you, John. Finances, we went over it last week. We do have. I need to do this one. We do have a recommended tax rate set forth by the town treasurer. She said something. No?
No.
Okay. Office of the Select Board, we, the Select Board of Bakersfield, hereby set the municipal tax rate at 0.69. The state of Vermont has set the tax rate for the school at 1.8734. And the non-homestead, for the non-homestead. And 1.4419 for the homestead. A tax rate
Say that
of
again.
1.4419.
That is the home.
That's the homestead.
And what was the other one, Doug?
1.8734.
Yeah, that's non, right?
Tax rate of 2.5634 will be set for non-residential properties. And a tax rate of 2.1319 for homesteads.
What was it last year?
I feel like that's down from last year.
It's just, yeah.
It's up, but it's up very.
Yeah, it's close.
Let's say, what were we last year, like 209? I feel like.
Something, it was actually a little bit more than that, I think.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay. So is there any questions or concerns about that? If not, all 5 of us need to sign. John, if you can come in at some point.
Yeah.
And sign this, it wasn't in the to be signed, it was in the new mail.
Okay, yeah, I'll take care of it when I can fly by when the office is empty and sign it.
Make a motion that we set the tax rates for homestead at the suggested numbers at 2.1319 for homestead and 2.5634 for non-residential property.
It's 2.1319.
Correct.
No second that.
So you're making me have to read that like 3 times, because sometimes it doesn't already always go the way it should. Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any more discussion around that? No. Okay, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
John West, I.
Perfect. There's 2 spots to sign, just so you're aware. And supporting documents. Tammy, I don't see. Oh, I'm just gonna hand that for you. I don't see this in there anywhere else, so we probably discuss this at the same time or now. This is the mapping contract. Take your mic on, please, sorry.
the lister spoke with the Board of Trustees. And recommended this one with our reasons, attached the quote, sent it to them. And the trustees voted to lend us the money so we could get the mapping project done. And so we're all set. We just need the board to sign the contract. There we go.
And that's this, right? Yep. So. I don't know if do you want to make the motion since you're in here twice?
I'm in here twice.
Well, you are one of the lending trustees also.
Was contemplating the idea of abstaining because I'm in more than one location. I will sign, but I don't think that I should set forward the,
I would see it fitting for you to sign here.
Okay.
And maybe abstain from here.
Okay.
If we entirely up to you,
Yep.
but we have a quorum without that
Mhm.
signature, so. I'll pass this down here for a motion to be made and.
Okay, I'll make the motion that we sign the mortgage agreement for the cartographic, I can't say that word, Cartographic Technologies, Inc.
I'll second that motion.
Can you give me a value?
Oh.
It's in the back there somewhere.
This one,
No.
in the amount of $14,135.
Seconded.
now just to clarify, that is coming from the trustees of public funds. I'm a board member of the trustees of public funds. That's why I'm not signing on behalf of the select board.
So the motion has been made and seconded. With no further discussion, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, John West. And do I have to come in and sign that as well?
Yes, please.
Okay,
Any opposed?
Who seconded that?
Tammy, I will give you both of these. Somebody's. I will give you. This actually has to be witnessed by the notary public, so.
Mhm.
We'll do that.
So Tammy, you need to
I
notarize.
need to
this.
notarize one.
Well,
Should have been done.
several others seconded. Yeah, right now, all she's doing is witnessing signatures.
Tammy, you just wait. Yeah, sure, that's good. But if I can get you to vote both of these.
I got my option to sign too.
So that John can come in and sign them.
Yep.
Uh, Usually just a select board folder that says papers to be signed, so. Put those in there for him. She's gonna put them in a folder for you, John.
thank you.
Alright, that covers the financials for now.
Okay.
Visitors. Alex. Good evening.
I've done a little bit of work since like.
No, I can't see it from here. Yep.
And I can't see John out in the cloud.
That's all right.
It's down in the clouds for sure.
You know? So I did a little bit of work since we last met to kind of do a scan of the funding opportunities for the town, keeping in mind not just, you know, the things that get decided at this table, but some of the committees, the library, the fire department, and came up with, I'm sure it's not an exhaustive list of grants, but almost 40 different funding opportunities that the town could potentially pursue. And I'm not sure if you have the schedule that I actually have a copy. Can we maybe get a copy for you?
On my computer.
Yeah.
Tammy, can you make?
Yeah, just real quick. I just thought that might be an issue. But yeah. So the spreadsheet is kind of there. I didn't expect you guys to print it off and like, I tried to print it off and I couldn't read it. But I laid out kind of what the next year could look like in terms of our engagement together. You know, I'm thinking with the hours that are left on the contract after the grant for the crosswalk that we just completed, which I don't know if we've heard anything yet.
So, On the crosswalk sign.
The V-Trans
Yeah,
grant that
no.
we just completed.
So you.
Yeah, I would be surprised if the state moved that fast. So I laid out, I'll wait until Jamie brings it in for you guys, so you can follow along. It's not an exhaustive list of anything. Obviously, these things are still up in the air. If we hear about grant opportunities that come along, we can pivot. But just, I thought I would recommend a few that, based on what I know about some projects.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tim.
And these are mostly organized by deadline, so like just coming up and what's in the future. In August, potentially benefiting the fire department, Dave's Firehouse Subs has a public safety foundation grant, $15,000 to $60,000 for equipment. That, you know, is life-saving education tools for first responders. There's also another one that I kind of made note of too. It's a smaller grant opportunity, but it's Brothers Helping Brothers for specifically rural fire departments in small towns. So that could be a really good fit too. Coming up in October, I know, you know, the groups are meeting to preserve the carriage, the Hearst House carriage barn. And there is a Vermont Historic Preservation Grant that's coming up for about $20,000 through the state. That's coming up in early October. Would want to kind of get going on that one pretty quickly because the state grants can be a little bit more involved in terms of documentation. November, looking at V-Trans again. There's the Better Roads program. I actually saw that Bakersfield has benefited from that program before, but not recently, or not the past year or so. So that could be potential for road projects, ditching, you know, things like that in the road department. In particular, there's also one coming up, a big one coming for the library facilities. I know, Nikki, you're aware of this one. We kind of missed one with the library earlier this year because they wanted shovel-ready projects and there needed to be a whole lot of prep work done, and the state gave us like 4 weeks to get an application done. And so the library ended up kind of passing on that. But there's another round of funding coming in the fall for the facility, so that could mean some really good upgrades for that facility within town. Deadlines are yet to be announced, but they said it's coming. So kind of keeping an eye on that one. And then the Vermont Preservation Trust has the Paul Brune Historic Revitalization Grants. The Conservation Commission went after this one last year. Didn't get it. I took it upon myself to reach out to the Preservation Trust to get the feedback why. And essentially, even though the guidelines didn't require a match, they wanted to see some additional town investment in the project. And I know some of that's been going on because you see the construction crews over there. But I think having submitted the process and getting that feedback would make it really competitive this year to kind of update that application and hone it and make it a little bit more targeted. And then there's some smaller family foundations here in Vermont that also might be willing to support some of the community initiatives. The Tarrant Foundation, they're closed, their application's closed for 2024, but I thought in the new year we could start maybe paying attention to that. They have a lot of different topics, youth resilience, working age adults, seniors, and the kind of this broad bucket of local resources and investments for communities. So there's just a lot that could fall under that for the town. And then finally, the Vermont's Arts Council Cultural Facilities Grant. Again, this could benefit the library. It's up to $30,000 with a match. It could benefit the library, historical society, or even if there are cultural components with the extension of the other buildings, like if there's an educational piece that's within the buildings, maybe the school is using it for educational programming. An argument could be made for that. So I've spent just a couple hours doing this for you all. Obviously, these are just ones that kind of rose to the top for me as I was thinking about things. But it's moving on to kind of the other considerations. I think that probably the best way to go about it would be to maybe meet, like, not in a public setting or like just individually to talk about, hey, what are the things that the town is really wanting to get funding for? And that way we can prioritize going after the right opportunities for the most timely resources for the town. And that would include meeting with some of you, the fire department, the librarian, both the commissions that are operating here in town, the historical society, whoever you would like me to meet with to kind of get that list of things. And then, you know, one of the other things that I would advise groups to do if we're going to pursue grants is to start the groundwork now, right? Start getting quotes for things, start getting prices for things. You know, just being ready, because in the event where we get 4 weeks to submit an application, it's going to be so much easier if we have those things and documents kind of in order and kind of an idea of what they're going to cost and what it's going to take to get them done. And that's especially true for capital projects on buildings, right? One other thing to consider too is MERP. I know that we've kind of been in the standstill holding pattern. I just checked the website as I was sitting here during the beginning of the meeting. It still says coming soon for those implementation funds. We do still have a standalone contract for MERP. So we could handle that one of two ways. We could just do that work under that contract, or apply any additional work towards MERP, towards our 100 hours that we also, you know, that we decided upon recently. So we kind of have two contracts in place right now. So it's however you guys want to do that. I'm open to either one. And then there are a number of opportunities. If you take the time to go through the spreadsheet, I don't expect you all to, you know, do that, but there are a number of different grants that could be applied for in the meantime that maybe have quarterly deadlines, ongoing deadlines. So I just wanted to come and present that, get some thoughts, and, you know, potentially blessing to maybe just start meeting with some individuals, you know, in town, to kind of start planning for some grants.
So I'm not sure, did you, probably not, but did you read the minutes from the last meeting?
I did.
You
yes.
did, okay.
Yeah.
So
yes.
did you see that Matt Hall was
I
here?
did, yeah.
Ginger,
Yep.
on behalf of the fire department, they have a very specific item that they would like to start looking into grants with.
Yep.
Ginger, when is the next officer meeting?
Which he's been invited to.
I've I talked to Matt extensively at the 4th of July celebration.
So-
Business meeting prior to,
Yeah,
Well,
if
we,
that's an August deadline.
we were discussing, we need to figure out as a fire department where our priorities are.
Mhm.
Our first go-to may not be for the first response team, because the fire department itself has a lot of needs also.
Okay.
And it doesn't have to be one need either, right? We can create a list, right? And one grant opportunity might fit something better than another, right? And it,
But I just see that deadline's August.
right.
So I think
right.
if, I know the fire department has come forward with needs.
Mhm.
That one has an not early, but
Yep.
a quickly approaching deadline. So I think, if you could set up a time to meet with them, because
It is quarterly as well, so if we don't do the August deadline, you know, they do this every quarter, which is nice.
Okay.
So you know, we could, you know, potentially get our ducks in a row and go after it in January if that,
Okay.
you know, needs to happen.
And did that one say matching or didn't?
That one doesn't have a match opportunity. I don't think.
Okay.
Yeah, they're a private, yeah,
Okay,
charitable arm of Dave's Fire Subs.
right.
the agreement that was.
And
I'd like Dave to open a firehouse sub up here, please.
Me too.
I'd be happy to contribute to the fund.
I'm gonna have to look at the previous minutes for the wording that we had on that. We had talked with Matt at the last meeting about sharing the cost of your services. Because he didn't want to come in and, you know, assume that he could take, 20, 30 hours of
Right.
the 100 that we'd agreed upon. So we had discussed that and
Right. There's gonna be a 50-50 match.
discussed the 50-50 matching from the fire department and the select board, but obviously we didn't vote on that because we had a small. So.
So my understanding, and if you guys wanted to work differently, let me know, but I'm not gonna pursue a grant opportunity unless you say, yes, it's okay to support the fire department with this. Yes, it's okay to support the library. You know, so that's kind of the purpose of these meetings, me coming every month, just to be like, hey, here's the next couple things that are coming up. Are we all good with that? hear the conversations I've had. I just want to keep you updated when I come each time.
So would you rather, I guess the next question would be then, would you rather that these town entities or groups come to us before they reach out to you, or reach out to you and then you both come to us and say, this is the grant that we have in mind, this is where we'd like to use it?
I'm okay with either way happening, whether they come to you guys first. I'm trying to stay attuned. I was reading the minutes, right? So if you're okay with me spending a few hours of time, like having some conversations with the cemetery commission, the conservation commission, library, trustee, maybe fire department, to get our initial kind of thoughts together about projects, then I'll go ahead and do that. And then from there, specific grant opportunities, I think could either be brought by me or the group, or sometimes both. I'll try to be here if there's a conversation about a grant. Does that work for everybody?
Could I just add, I know that the library is currently, working actively on getting prepared for that grant.
Yeah.
So if the select board isn't willing to support that, I think that's a decision that we should make, because it involves septic and all kinds of things, that work that has to be done, not the work, but getting the thank you, that's the word I'm looking for, and quotes and all of that. So, and I can ask Wendy, we can ask Wendy to come to the next meeting if that is your preference.
I would support it.
I think no matter what we do, I think we need to make sure that it's the same for all.
Yes.
So if like Matt came to us and he said, this is what the fire department is thinking of. And again, he said, we don't want to use all your hours that we've allotted for. Can we work out a deal?
Right.
And we worked out a deal with him, or are in the process of working out a deal with him.
Right.
And then at this point, Alex has come in, we'll say to Alex, Matt and the fire department has this idea. Can you help them pursue this? That's a go. So that the next time, I don't know,
We just need a process.
process,
Yeah.
yes. And I think that would be the biggest thing, is that that's before anything happens, that Alex and the committee both come to us. We discuss what they're looking for, how we are gonna be able to support them, and then invest the hours in time.
Right.
But I don't think we can have, I don't wanna say rogue, but
Well, it's spur of the moment.
offhand,
I would agree. I think Wendy had been here.
Yes.
We should have.
But we haven't had the conversation where they are.
Sort of like we did with that last week. It was similar. It was in the meeting.
About what to expect.
Yeah.
so like, I think even now that you've said that the fire department is thinking maybe the first response isn't your highest priority. I think at this point, I would want to know what I think as a board, it's just the board. I think any town member would want to know what we're investing our time and money into to go after. And it would be the same for any entity within the town, if Mac's looking for you to help him with the Better Roads grant, we'd want to know what he's going for, not just, I need 60,000 for stuff,
Yeah, I think just initially it would, be a conversation like this. Hey, the general scope is this, and
Yep.
then similarly to what we did with V-Trans, I would want to send you all plus, the committee members a copy of the draft, the proposal, and get your approval, because I'm not an authorized representative of the town. You guys are, so you ultimately should also always approve. Like, hey, this is being.
I could just see if we don't have a process that's
Yeah.
getting out of hand quickly.
Right.
Not in a negative way, just people are very enthusiastic about certain projects within the town, which is a great thing. I think we just need to make sure that we're all on the same page.
Sure. So with that being said, we need the library to come in next week.
I think that would be the
Okay.
best way for that to happen.
Yep.
With a thought process as to what they're hoping to do, how much ballpark they think it would cost, and you know, if they've spoken with you, what grants they think are gonna best suit that. So
Did you
Yeah.
say library?
Mhm.
So generally,
Yeah, the challenge with that one is the application hasn't been released yet, so.
Yeah.
we exactly know what's gonna be.
Yep.
Right.
Well, and the same thing for the fire department. I know you guys have weekly meetings, if, you know. I know you guys like staying extra afterwards if it's a training meeting, but if you could narrow down exactly what it is you wanna do.
Yeah.
Come in, I mean, even if
Mhm.
Todd, you want that Todd, bring it to the board, I don't think that would be an issue, you just.
Yeah, put it down. We'll talk.
Your question.
Put us on the next agenda, the fire department, and we'll have, that's
2 weeks
2 weeks from today, yeah.
Can, Tammy, can I ask? If we have visitors, we have roads in between those, could you put?
Grants.
Grants?
In between visitors and roads?
Yep,
Right,
as
right.
one of
I don't
the,
know.
one of the sometimes,
Okay,
because I could see this getting.
Busier.
so the next select board meeting is the night before our next business.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's
3 weeks
3
from now.
weeks from tonight,
That's what I'm thinking.
from 12th of August.
Yep.
Oh, I'm not here.
I'm not here either.
So that, if they're going for that one, that one might actually require.
Yeah.
Because the deadline is August,
Well,
But this is the quarterly one, right? So
right, so I mean. That would make it seem like August may not be an option.
I mean,
To swap and say, this is what our needs are that we're looking for, that's.
for the next quarter,
Fill out.
for the next quarter, yes.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah.
That's the plan.
I was just saying that we weren't gonna be able to make that deadline meeting on the 12th.
No.
I mean, I know you're good, but.
yeah, well, I appreciate that time.
Yeah.
And if I could, I agree, Josh, on the one level that entities should come, since no entity in the town should commit the town money, that it should come to the select board for, if we're going to use the grant funds that we've, set aside to help offset, 50/50, 25/70, whatever it may be. They need to come and talk to us before they start committing funds to anything.
I agree.
So at your meeting, are you asking groups to come in and like say, these are our priorities for grants? Or, like, so should I potentially not go have individual conversations? Should I just show up to that space?
Understand what the process is.
yeah.
Right.
And then once we've got this more streamlined, then you could come to those meetings.
Right,
The entities could come to those meetings and be like,
right.
this is what we're looking to do.
Mhm.
And you-
Alex,
I don't wanna have my guys build this list that we want and then come here and Alex has no idea and he's like, no, you can't do that. And
Yeah,
then
exactly.
he's like, yeah, it's cleaning and stuff.
Well, this is what I'm. You guys, how that's required and needed, right?
We can be on the same page, I think
Right.
the process will be.
So there we go.
Okay.
So I'm not sure, Lance, this is how it was spoken in the last meeting, it's Here.
I think that's fair.
Okay.
So
So
50/50 split on, you know, if the fire department utilizes your expertise on writing grants. We would offer 50% and the fire department would be responsible for 50%, as would cemetery commission or whoever else.
So that was just, yeah, Todd, I think
No,
includes and, I don't know.
It's kind of, it was part of them, talked about,
So yeah, I think at this point, so that would be the initial conversation portions.
Okay.
You know, 60, I think you're 60, right? It's
Yep.
in the contract. So if the fire department meets with you for 2 hours,
Mhm.
we would we would pick up 60, the fire department would pick up 60. I don't know if that affects how you bill.
I mean, my preference, I know that we did that with the Conservation Commission last year. I just
Yeah.
billed the town and the treasurer.
Okay.
The conservation, that's the easy one, because the
Right.
conservation commission is part of the municipality.
Right.
Whereas the fire department and the cemetery commission are not.
Right.
So preferably they should be billed separately.
Then I might need to establish a.
Uniting this or something, uniting, yeah, yep.
For the services.
I think the library is also in that category, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think library owned by the town.
Yeah.
Oh, it is, that's well, they probably is.
Municipal library.
Full funds, right?
I wonder if there is an easier way to do it. It just feels like this is starting to get,
Well, we could,
that would be.
yeah, we could build.
That would be actually easier for him.
Yeah, we can do it that way. I think it would be-
That's easy enough to do.
I mean, I'm not the one that sends the bills.
Treasurer's not here right now.
That would be, that would.
That way, I.
I mean, that would keep it simple for me, just, you know, just
Well, it
to
keeps it
send one
simple for
invoice
the
and not
town.
have to establish contract with the library.
Right,
with
right,
the-
right.
As long as you're supportive of doing it.
I'm trying to think, I think the fire department is definitely, would the historical society be in that same scope as the fire department?
Yeah.
Yes, okay, so,
Yeah, they're.
just, they would be a separate entity, they're not, it would just be.
Right.
If something was done with the historical society. We would have to send you a bill for the half of the. Same as, okay, I think that would be.
I think that'd be the easiest way.
Enough to do.
That works.
Give the town a better way of
Yeah.
saying their money's.
Yes. All right, so,
Well, it gives us more money to hire Alex.
yes, we have more projects for him to help us with for sure. Okay, so I don't, does that need to be, that would need a motion and a second and a vote, I believe, in order for it to be.
So are we voting that for every entity, it's a 50-50
All
match?
entities would be a 50-50.
Yeah.
Yep,
All non-municipal entities.
right. Which. Would technically be all entities, just,
Conservation Commission is municipal, library is municipal.
right, but they were paying 50-50 anyway, it was just transferring of funds instead of charging a bill.
Yeah, half comes out of their budget. and
Right.
half, yeah.
So I think it would read that all,
Should we advise these entities of this decision before we do it, just to make sure that we're not missing something? I just,
And also, do you want to leave yourself wiggle room if there's a big grand opportunity that's
Right.
gonna affect one or more community institution, you know, do you want to leave yourselves room to do 75? You know,
Okay.
I mean, is that the rule of thumb or is
Right.
that the rule, right?
that's,
I thought we were doing it, I thought we were doing it on as basis when it came in, but we had a guideline because. You know, let's just say someone wants 5 grants and it comes up to, you know, $40,000 in the split just because of time invested in there or whatever. It doesn't matter, pick a number, but I thought we were doing, we were talking about, you know, as case by case basis. That's why you wanted to add it to the agenda to have the discussions.
yep, no, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So we can even hold off on the fire department at this point until,
Well,
okay, that's fine if we, yeah. So we can get that official in the books then for the fire department, as it was just conversation at the last meeting. So I can, the motion would be that on. You got one? Okay,
Make a motion that you set a policy of all non-municipal entities can use Alex's service at a 50-50 cost split as approved case by case basis by the select board.
instead of 50-50, can we put cost share?
Cost
Yeah.
share.
That kind of gives you the range. Yeah.
Range,
Services, services at a cost share,
shared amount.
the cost share
Agreed upon cost shared amount.
amount as approved. as
What do you say?
on
I said agreed upon cost share amount.
Correct,
Right.
agreed upon Cost shared amount.
Agree. Cost shared amount.
Policy, the motion.
Yeah. It is a policy.
Policy.
On case by case basis by the select.
Correct.
And that says
Motion.
non-municipal, is that what you said?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that-
I'll second that.
On non-municipal entities can use Alex's services.
Right.
At an agreed upon cost shared amount as approved on a case by case basis by the select. board.
Yes.
That's
Who made that motion?
Josh.
Yeah.
Right, second.
Damn, you can't.
Oh,
Yeah. Any further discussion?
Because we've established what we're doing, because what we're talking about here is coming up with a process going forward,
Right.
a policy going forward. So we've figured out what we're doing, or we've got a motion that says what we're going to do for the non-municipal, but where does that leave our municipal?
Well, I think you made a good point. They all have, the municipal organizations all have their own budget. They can kick in the 50% too.
Agreed upon amount.
Agreed upon.
Right.
Good.
Because I think Alex is right. Sometimes there might be a big.
That's a change to.
motion
Take
to.
it from municipal,
To entities.
all town.
Town entities.
Town entities.
Right.
Big or small, incorporated or not.
There you go.
The motion is amended.
Can I see that again? I forgot what he said.
Okay, Josh makes the motion to set a policy.
Hit your buttons.
No, this is John.
Yeah, drop
This is just. Josh made a motion to set a policy for all town entities that set a policy. That all town entities can use Alex's services at an agreed upon cost shared amount as approved on a case by case basis by the select board.
Seconded by Lance.
Yep.
Well, that was an amended.
I'll second the amended version.
Discussion.
A second, yeah.
All those in favor?
All right.
John West, I said John West, I.
Okay. Now, as a subcategory on that, the fire department has agreed to a 50-50 cost share amount. Because if you go and work with him, that needs to be on the books at this point already.
Agreed cost shared amount. of-
Yep.
Split.
Perfect. That was slightly painful.
Yeah.
It's good to have people here to talk that because there's sometimes that we. Why does that even work?
Yeah.
But, all right.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Thank you, Alex, for doing that. It's a nice list, yeah.
I would not be surprised if you have with this list, some he's reaching out to you.
I mean, I see people around and they grab me and talk and it's fine. So I'll get some official conversations going and
Yeah, send a meeting.
hone this list a little bit more.
To reach out to Abby to get put on the next board agenda under the grants.
Yep.
That way we get everything streamlined, come to agreements.
And then,
Any of the entities that do come to those meetings must be a quorum.
Yeah.
Individuals cannot come and make decisions on behalf of
An organization.
town entities.
Gotcha.
Correct. I'm not telling you that, I'm putting that out there.
Gotcha. But like, just from my own knowledge, as I talk to people, like a quorum of the library trustees would need to show up.
Correct.
If they were.
Or could be, right, you show a document that says the form voted on it. Yes.
Signed
Yep.
by a quorum.
Yep. Yeah.
I feel like that would.
She could be
So
here.
we just need proof of a quorum agreement.
Yeah, it can't, yeah, we just need to make sure that it's not a single
Yeah.
person in a group
Right.
making decisions on the group's behalf, yeah.
That's practical.
And the next meeting's on the 12th of August.
Yes.
I'll plan that to be my monthly meeting since that's gonna be the conversation. Usually it's the second meeting, but I'll try to be there for that
Okay.
conversation.
The only thing I think on that one is that is also when Tom is here for the finances.
Okay,
Sometimes that runs a little long, just.
Yep.
I know family and stuff, so if you don't want to be here all night,
yep, okay.
we can try it for a couple months, and if you're like,
Top of
maybe
Zoom.
Tom. Oh, that works too, yeah. As long as either John's here or John sets it up, because
Yeah, I mean, yeah, after that, I probably would do the second. I might even come to both meetings in August, or if I do the first one on Zoom, then
Right.
probably show up to the second one too. And if we have logistical details about a grant to discuss, I will try to be here to
excellent.
keep on timeline.
And then I was gonna add, we're not quite ready yet, but once the new website is up and running, it will be, I mean, I think it'd be great to have a tab that says grants and maybe work with you to have that, just so people have somewhere to go so they can look
I think
easily.
this right here would be awesome.
That's what I was
Adding
thinking.
to the grants tab,
Yeah.
the link,
Yeah.
so that they could look at what the requirements are.
Yep. Yep.
And we can get you in touch with.
All the links are in that spreadsheet to go look at the funders, so that's easy.
And we can get you in touch with what it'll be you.
Yeah, and we'll, so that you can do it.
Mhm.
I mean, that would be
Yep.
quick and easy. We'll talk.
Yeah, all right.
Thank
sounds
you.
good.
Perfect.
All right, thank you all.
Thank you.
Have a good evening, Alex.
You too.
Cemetery Commission is next on the hot seat. You boss.
Thank you.
If you want those.
Oh,
We're next.
You are.
Okay.
Do you need another chair?
Need one more chair.
One more chair. Tammy, can you grab that one? Orange, oh, never mind, he's got one. There we go.
by the way.
In the middle again. Okay. Come before you as the cemetery commission, separate entity
Perfect.
from the select board. Responsible for the maintenance and care of the cemeteries, both Cook and Maple Grove. And that includes the Hearst House. Ron Marcotte is our sexton. Janet Macy is our co-chairperson, and I'm the chairperson.
Perfect.
Okay. And the reason we are here is Tom brought it to our attention that our checking account is in a money market prime with a limited number of checks that can be written per month.
Okay, he did talk to us about this.
Okay.
Yep.
So I checked with the bank and they said, that's right. And it's 3 checks per month. And with the activity going on in the summer, that restricts us. So I talked to Deb over at Community Bank, and she said the thing to do is set it up so that you transfer money from your money market account into a business carefree checking account.
Yeah.
With no limit on checks and no fees and all of that.
Okay.
So I checked on that. The problem is there's a select board member that's the second signer on our funds.
Okay,
And our budget is separate from your budget. So we need that person's name off. So we can put a cemetery commission member on.
okay.
We can set up that checking account.
Just for clarification, is that person's John, right?
It is.
John is the second signer on all of our checkbooks at this point, right?
We can't transfer that money into a select board because we can't commingle the funds.
Okay.
But we shouldn't have a select board member. It's a separate entity
Right,
on.
I hear what you're saying. Yep,
Yeah.
yep. I think that is, I would say, an easy thing to correct. It's not easy. It's kind of a pain in the butt. I think there's, what was there, John, like 15, 20 pages to sign, something crazy like that?
Well, it's just because of all the accounts we have. I think it's like a page per account.
Okay, so
So
if
it's
one
not
account-
as bad as you think.
Okay,
Right.
so for only one account, all we would have to do is have Tom and yourself go in there, change it to the person that you designate.
Tom and one of our,
Correct. So we would just need,
Trade Commission.
yep, we would need somebody from, you'd have to vote for somebody to be the signer. We go with, because I think John has to sign off on not being a signer. Tom has to sign off that the new person is, and yeah. So I think it's a fairly simple fix.
Yes, the other thing they need is a copy of the minutes saying that that is authorized by the select board to do that.
Okay. Yep, which that'll be in there as soon as we make a motion and, I
And
don't foresee any issues. Does anybody on the board see anything?
Makes sense.
So what you're requesting then, or proposing, I shouldn't say requesting, is the addition of an account that is a business checking.
business carefree checking account
Okay.
that we can
And-
use in conjunction with the money market.
Yep. Which would have a signer from the cemetery commission and Tom.
Yes.
So it's separate.
Carefree checking account.
Well, there's an additional checking account connect to the money market account?
Yes. So it can be transferred out of the money market.
Both under the cemetery commission. Money market already is, but we need the additional checking account to transfer funds
No,
into.
because he takes care of all of it. He pays their. So even though they're a separate entity,
With cemetery commission,
much
a
like the
cemetery
library.
commission member as a second signer.
We were just discussing up here that what you're asking for is exactly what the library has.
Yes. And that's
Yes.
what Tom said.
Fire department doesn't have the town doing their stuff.
Right. It's like, yeah, because, and time is of the essence, because we've already got three checks.
to do your own books.
Yes,
Is a, yes,
Well,
carefree business checking account. And did you check? I know they just did some changes there. Does that have a minimum balance requirement? I would just double,
he didn't say so.
so
will-
I use that bank and they have recently, like within the past month, made it so you have to have a minimum. It's still carefree.
Right,
Yeah,
but there's
There's a minimum balance, so you'll just want to make sure that you double check on that
we'll
before.
take care of that.
Not that
Right.
you can't put that money in there and then put that as your zero. So that's what I do with my checking, but
Good to know.
Right.
Yes, every check over the three gets charged a fee of $10.
Mhm.
And the money market account makes less than $50 interest per year. So it doesn't take long. They
I was just gonna say, trippy
running
interest.
red.
okay. So going in, just clarifying, because we've got the new Vermont handbook on who's in charge of what and how and when and why. Generally, town cemetery matters are the responsibility of select board. However, the voters may decide to put the town public cemeteries under the charge of cemetery commissioners. The voters then elect a board of 3 to 5 cemetery commissioners for 3 or 5 year staggered terms, respectively. 18 Vermont State 5374. The board is responsible for the care and management of the town's cemeteries, which include the following tasks. The cemetery commission may grant or convey by deed lots and make regulations governing the sales price and care of the lots. Cemetery commissioners may set aside portions of the cemetery for burials of indigenous persons and make regulations for use of special areas. Cemetery commissioners may maintain public cemeteries and hire someone to perform this work. The expenses not to exceed $500 per year of the town funds may be
Good luck
paid
there.
by the cemetery.
Ridiculous.
As I would, these are the that have come out, so.
They forgot to update that.
Yeah, Cemetery commissioners may grant temporary right of ways over private land to reach graveyards. Cemetery commissioners must keep and maintain repair fences around public burial grounds. Cemetery commissioners must submit an annual report for the town audit, including details of financial statements, a listing of the work of the commissioners, and the conditions and needs of the cemetery. The cemetery commissioners and not the select board may appoint individuals to fill vacancies on the board until the next annual meeting, even if a majority of the positions on the commission are vacant. Last one, a cemetery commissioner may be fined, $200 for failure to keep a fence in repair after written notification of its disrepair, and may be fined $200 for the willful neglect of his or her duties. What one were you tapping on? I think I read them all, didn't I?
The one you missed.
Which one? This one?
Third one.
I read that one.
Okay.
Cemetery commissioner
apologize.
may maintain public cemeteries. That was the one they were laughing at because they said the expense may not exceed $500. Yep. So that is involved. I mean,
Yes.
sorry.
No, that's fine.
I don't think that's
Maybe
changed
paid the
what's in the
commissioner's
last one.
drawing orders of the town treasurer. So what this is saying is the expense is not to exceed $500 per year of town funds
Right.
may be paid by the commissioners in drawing orders on the town treasurer, which means they tell the town treasurer what to pay and he pays it.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay.
The way it works.
So nowhere in there does it state that the select board needs to be one of the co-signers on the bank account, correct?
No, that's what we were checking for.
Oh,
Okay. So what we're looking for is a motion, correct?
We are.
So I make a motion that the current money market banking checking account that has the town treasurer and myself on it be altered, to remove myself and to add someone from the cemetery commission determined by a vote of the said cemetery commission.
We also
And
need.
do you
the
want
other-
to do the carefree part?
Yeah,
At which time they shall create a carefree checking account after confirming that there is no balance required in order for them to be able to sign their check, use more than 3 checks a month.
That doesn't make any difference.
it's on the recording. Motion's
On the
been,
recording.
do we have a second?
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Is there any further discussion? I'll call for a vote. All those in favor?
Yeah, aye. John
Any-
West says aye. Sorry.
Any opposed? Excellent. All right.
Thank you very much.
you're welcome.
Oh, we're here. Can we ask a question about the minutes from last meeting?
You can.
Talking about the security in light of what happened over in Butternut Hollow Road in Enosburg. Are you gonna rethink that? About getting extra police coverage in Bakersfield? It doesn't have to be
So,
3 hours a week, you know?
yeah, no, I have thought about that. I haven't brought it back up.
Yeah.
We still have the contract. I think it was 91.
Sure.
That was the sheriff's department. It was 91, like 08 or 28, something like that. Hold me on the change, but $91 and some change per hour. Which at first we kind of scoffed at.
Yeah.
But then I got to thinking about,
If you
have.
dispatch.
You have the officer himself
Right,
And all his.
or themselves,
right.
the equipment, the car, dispatch. I don't think that's astronomical.
Your time starts from when you leave home, so if you contract them for 8
Yep,
and it's a 2-hour ride,
right.
you're only gonna get 4
Right.
hours to work.
Here's my thing though, or here's one of the things I was thinking is that was a foot in the door.
Yes, yep.
Which we looked at We will look at more in-depth.
Right.
I think it's worth having them come.
Yep.
Question,
Yes,
was there a minimum amount of time they were contracting?
No.
for?
No,
should I say, I think it said 4 to 4.
Spring tried to contract for a lesser time, but they wouldn't do it.
Well,
So it all
if they
depends on,
get
yeah.
into a place,
Right.
they're going to start where the facility can.
It's the state police and find out what the outfit is for the state troopers and.
Can you coordinate with Fairfield or?
Yeah, that kind of thing. We're working together.
Possibility. But I don't disagree with you with, in light of what's happened recently,
Right.
not just in the past week, but
No.
I'm willing to say within the past year, the uptick in crime in our area.
Right. Yeah.
If we don't have some sort of law enforcement, eventually somebody's gonna take it into their own hands.
Yep.
And I don't think that's what we want as a
Right.
town,
Right.
but
Josh,
yes.
all you gotta do is just look over here on Main Street. At Linda's
Mm-hmm.
and see the goings on
Mm-hmm.
and extra activity that has come up on the avenue.
Yep.
The further end of the avenue.
So I mean, we had a fire hydrant
Yeah.
down on the corner. Mac, did the police even show up for that?
they did.
They did, okay.
Start to.
It surprised me, but
Just being conservative and saying we could hire someone for 4 hours a day.
Yeah.
For 26 weeks out of the year is 50 grand.
I think this is definitely a topic that we're gonna discuss.
Yeah.
Right. And we were waiting to see what Eastburg did with code.
Yeah.
Enforcement, because they kind of offered some chances to bring someone over there. And they were looking for Sheldon, Bakersfield, like a group of us to get together
Yeah.
and do that, but I haven't heard.
4 towns together would hire somebody full time.
Right, kind of a little
Local patrol over the 4 towns. Yeah.
So my only concern with that is it goes back to the root cause. It's
Yeah.
The sheriff's department isn't saying we don't want to service your towns. The
Right.
sheriff's department is saying we don't have the manpower.
Correct.
So
Yep.
if the police are short on manpower, the
Yeah.
sheriff's
Same with
department
the
is short on
state
manpower.
police. Yeah.
How do we think we're gonna start a
Right.
department?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not fall into the same boat?
Yeah.
I mean.
That's why I was looking to see what.
So I mean, if the sheriff's department is willing to come and talk, then I think that's where we start.
Feel that come back again too.
Absolutely.
It may be a good time to see where he's at.
I don't think we
The
should
town-
lose any
Yep.
doors, especially on. those issues.
Also, some discussion on neighborhood watch.
Yeah.
So
Yep,
more cameras around town.
absolutely. I think well, it hit real close to home the other day when
It
we
did.
had somebody at my parents' house, and it took, I'm gonna say less than 20 minutes for that individual to be identified, located, and approached. But we'll just go with
Same with the
approach.
clubhouse to get broke into. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, by all means, use the tools that we have. The community page is a great thing when it's used to help each other out. And we're a small community and we gotta stay tight, otherwise
That's it.
they're gonna vibrate in between us, so.
Right.
But yeah, that's not off the table at all.
Okay.
In fact, I would say it's sort of firmly.
It's moving up. Moving up on the table, yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
I would ask them how that was on the agenda and see if you have him, see if you can get a hold of the sheriff's department, have them come to the next meeting.
I will not be at the next meeting.
Can I ask a question?
You can.
Todd, is your mic and Nikki's mic on?
Yes. Yes.
All right, that's what's happening. I think it's riding over and you guys are bubbling. You get like a hard distinction. No, it's just because both mics are on and you're talking, Todd. And when you talk, it makes like a very disorienting. I can't understand what you're saying 9 out of 10 times.
John, do you know where you- the 12th? Is there any reason that you won't be here the 12th?
I will be there the 12th, yes.
Okay,
So you're not gonna be.
I will not be here the 12th.
I will be here the 12th.
Okay, I just want to make
So I
sure
would
that,
hold off on inviting them until you're here.
Who else is gonna be gone? Oh, Mickey?
we're both going.
I would like to be.
That's why I'm thinking when
for
it's a full board, it would be better probably.
that is 3 weeks, so that means we're pushing it back 5 weeks before we can meet with them. Which I mean,
Already decided that we can't get it this quarter anyhow.
right,
Yeah.
correct. Lovely, we'll be back in school.
Ugh. So a question of process with a contract.
Yep,
Last time we attempted this, it went to town meeting day.
it did.
So would we have to wait until next March or can we
would.
do something ahead of time?
I think it would really depend on where we stand financially right now in the town. If there is,
We've gone into contracts before without going.
Well, we can put it a line item for March and,
without a doubt. But I was wondering, I think what Nikki is saying is if we wanted to start with a test contract
Mhm.
for the remainder of the year.
Yeah.
And we wanted, say, okay, the town knows we are going to have, or the select board knows because of what Tom has told us, we are going to have $50,000 extra in the general budget for whatever reasons. Maybe money's coming in that we didn't anticipate or unexpected things that didn't get
we'll
spent.
have just under $40,000 coming back from Brigham.
Right. So I mean, things like that, if we were to take that money, maybe we even have a quick town hall meeting
Yeah.
that says, we see this much funding available.
Mhm.
What are the feelings of the town using this on a trial basis for some patrol?
And if you notice, most of this takes place when the state police aren't on duty.
Right.
It's after. That's what I'm saying.
We could put it on, I don't know, maybe we couldn't, the November ballot, because obviously we have a ballot coming up in November.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Good idea, John.
So I mean, I think there's definitely some options.
Yeah.
If that's what you were asking.
It is what I was
I
asking.
think the other thing is we do get Lieutenant Philip back in and say, hey, look, you promised when you're here before, and we're not seeing, can you at least step up a few patrol? I've seen a few in here.
I've seen them.
Yeah.
I
they're coming through.
saw one on the other end of Bakersfield
Yeah.
just for a quick second.
Yeah.
Someone, there was somebody pulled over in front of my house. last week.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, they picked
That's
up-
great. No,
They picked somebody, there is one trooper that's been coming here a little bit more.
He travels between Jeff and
Yeah.
Yeah.
he goes to
Bakersfield,
camp, And he's coming here a little.
No,
No,
this was midday.
Yeah.
Cause my son asked me, he goes, what are you gonna do if he pulls you over? I said, I'm gonna shake their hand and thank them for doing the job we've hired them to do and pay my ticket because I was in the wrong. But
I do
it's very
think
good.
if we hire someone, it's gotta be more of those late night hours.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, and
Because that seems to be when things.
in the hours, if and when we can have this discussion, we're gonna be back into school time.
Yes.
So I would, completely being personal here, I would really like to see somebody slowing the vehicles down in the morning when we have kids crossing the roads.
Yep.
In the afternoons when we have kids crossing the roads. Midday, I feel like a lot of our town disappears because we're a bed
Yeah.
town.
No,
We're not,
right.
we're not.
Actually, yeah.
So, I mean, I would like to
Yeah.
see the early morning,
Yeah.
or not early morning, but I'd like to see a morning shift and an afternoon shift.
Yeah.
No, we are trying to get a light up crossing light like the town of Enosburg has. We've got a grant out for that right now.
Put the square footage there, some
So
of
remember
those stuff.
how Pittsburgh used to stop all traffic for the. buses
Yeah,
to go
I
up?
was told that was illegal.
Well, it got paid for years.
I think almost puts your custodian in the
it
middle.
might have had something to do with that shotgun you had.
Months.
Something about
Training.
stopping the flow of traffic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was.
Because it stopped. gonna stop all traffic till all the buses left.
Yeah, I think,
That might be.
yeah, but it's not an emergency or special situation. It's
Every day.
it's vehicles coming.
It's because this particular student, I wonder where he is now, walked into a car on Main Street during school.
But it is a safety issue. I mean, you'd think that,
Essex has one at every crosswalk in the morning.
So, yeah, I mean,
they do. But you're right, it's, you can't just stop it and hold it. That's the difference. Yeah.
But either way,
School day.
I hear, well, as you probably do, the traffic between 6:45 and 7:45 in the morning is horrendous, and I've got to the point where I can tell you how fast a car is going. Just because,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, I'm not kidding.
It's even worse now.
50 miles an hour is routine, and it's,
there was,
let me compare that to.
there was one where I was
thing,
gonna,
but-
every morning. I said, tomorrow morning, I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna pretend to tie a rope to the tree across the road. I'm gonna stand on my side and I'm gonna pull. I don't have anything, but I bet they'd slow down in a hurry.
It is pretty.
They're not on a four-wheeled vehicle. I think there's, something's gotta be done, and it's not just speeders either.
No.
At this point, we have some bigger issues.
Serious. I would, and I don't know how we do this, but we know that there was some resistance 4 years ago when it was voted down.
yes,
So as much,
there's gonna be as much resistance.
maybe not, but I think it's important that we are.
especially if we do it in the ballot booth
Yes.
rather than
Yes.
off the floor.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yep.
I agree. Yep. I like what John says.
Don looks scared up there. Roads.
Huh?
Road.
Yeah,
Week, yeah, sorry.
hey, who's the other visitors?
Yeah.
Closing them.
I apologize. Were you here for that portion?
Yeah, I just had her come to sit in on the.
I needed to sit on the grant writer.
Okay, that's what you were here for. Okay, I don't want to assume and then move on to roads and you'd be like 25th, I think is what you said.
I think it's the 26th.
6th. Oh, yeah, because it wouldn't be,
I want it.
wouldn't be 10 days.
That's just access going out of the Smith Road,
it's a private road.
No.
No,
You have no problems with it?
Sheriff.
Basically,
Sheriff.
I think we discussed before we went.
You think you're court?
You want to turn on both sides.
I've been doing
I just talk, he's really easy to talk to, You just say, hey, look, you know, we had our meeting.
Issued on, what's the hell's the date today?
What's funny,
Today's the 22nd.
be progressive on that.
That's good. That's what, yeah. Sorry not to have two conversations going. Todd, your mic's not on. Todd was just explaining to me that I could call the sheriff's department and invite them in at any time. The sheriff is,
Or the state.
or the state police.
Commander, and just talk to them and then.
Access permit, Mac has no problems with it.
Well, you didn't put the permanent validate.
It's approved on proceed. You can put that in. I did half your work for you. Mr. Chair.
So how would probably good. I would actually travel a few of them this week.
Okay.
Good job.
They're not terrible.
Actually,
Started with them over today, the long arm.
yep.
Gonna take a little getting used to.
I was just gonna say, there's a lot of that to do. That is the one thing I notice, a lot of encroachment of the limbs.
Ryan is starting with it and Alan's back on the sickle bar. So he's gonna try to do the first pass with that and hog him back with the other one.
Started on a slower road. Like you-
Started on King Road because it was close and.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Something goes wrong, it's close to where all.
I went backwards and good.
I mean, plus it's not so much traffic, you try to get used to on that thing and things are all different.
I was going to that, but I was just gonna give it to her.
Tammy, send that contract back up to me before I forget about it, please.
The Vermont mortgage agreement?
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. John's gonna sign.
You gotta get the listers to sign.
Oh.
Or not listers.
John's gonna sign it.
Board of trustees.
So no issues.
The rings are up both places.
Excellent.
We're not about getting a lockbox or not, you know, a job box like we have for our tools
Yep,
to put chainsaws in.
I
You
think
know,
that
it's,
makes sense.
gonna
Small
be-
one, or not small.
it's gonna be fairly good
like a
size.
Style,
It's an upright with
Okay.
shelves and the same one we got down there, but that way we'd have room for the chainsaws, the pole saw, you know, that kind of stuff, and it can be locked.
Good.
Which is,
Question, did you ever get the
well,
trailer?
and I. Hey,
now we're talking about the one for the
Hydro
cedar.
Yeah.
Hydro cedar.
so,
I'm assuming you didn't get the air compressor either.
that's right. Well, I had to wait for Tammy to get the account opened up.
So Mac needs a full-size air compressor. For.
Yeah.
He's gonna put over 100 pounds of air in each tire on the truck.
Okay, yeah.
The compressor you have now,
It'll do it, but you have to get it up to like 80, 85, let the air out, let
Is
the
it the
compressor
one of the
work.
tall compressor or no? Is it one of the higher?
Side one.
Yeah, but it just doesn't work.
It was old when
It's using a commercial compressor,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
so. He also needs, we bought that, or with that grant.
Yeah.
We were just talking about the Better Roads grant, we also got a hydro seeder 3 years ago.
2 years ago.
Was it 2?
Yeah.
2 years ago. And at this point.
Trailer.
Yeah.
We moved
Bringing in his trailer or we bring,
it with Dan's.
so they use Dan's trailer to move it. So at this point, he needs a trailer. And a industrial size compressor.
2 trailers.
2 trailers. What's the
So
other?
what size trailers?
It's bigger.
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah.
That one's. a-
Side point.
The size of Danny's,
The tannin he's
the
got.
Panoms, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Because you got quite a bit of water on
Yeah.
there,
Yeah,
stuff like that, so.
that's something we can get like Tractor Supply. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
The tractor supply.
Let's get it moved, yeah.
He's, and this was approved.
Well, actually, you know what?
2 years.
Give the, it's a Richmond call that has, what's the one down?
You're gonna be able to
Duxbury?
work with that.
Yeah.
Those are heavier built trailers. They're a little heavier than what we would actually need. They're for like the guys that are moving 2 or 3 mowers or
Yeah.
something like that.
Okay.
They're hauling them every day.
Right.
Yeah, much cheaper.
Tractor Supply orders online.
I have to go in person because I have to give them a
Yeah.
tax exempt number.
Oh, yeah.
Which will be perfect because you can pick up the trailer.
Yeah.
Put the air compressor on.
Right, which brings up the next question. Tammy, you were working on getting a credit card for a Tractor Supply.
She did.
Not a credit
An
card,
account.
An account,
Account.
yeah.
a credit account, correct. How is that? We do.
He just has to take.
He's gonna take tax exempt number down.
When I do it, and then both those items I think are gonna have to be ordered and
Yeah.
then come in, like you say, hook up the trailer.
Yeah.
Ingersoll Rand compressor.
So it's gonna be one of the big ones, yeah.
It's like almost 6 feet tall.
Yeah.
They got one in stock, because I looked at one
They
today.
did.
Yeah, they've got several in
I
stock.
looked at one today that said it wasn't in stock in Enosburg, but
St. Albans probably has it though.
right.
That's the only other thing.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah, I hear you.
There's all sorts of them.
We've got entrance doors ordered for both. Because that one's been,
I got one down there, yeah.
and this one, when they tried to get into it the last time, they,
I replaced that in 1988. That door down there. Well, seriously, yeah, but we got,
36 years.
well, the window's broken right now because of
Yeah.
the, I'm
yeah,
assuming.
someone else broke in and broke the door at that time.
They
Yeah.
tried to get in the back door. They kicked that in.
Yep, that's why it used to have a bar across. the-
Well, we got 2x4s across it and they couldn't get in, so.
Yeah,
Did you order a new window?
Still waiting on their insurance claim. I mean, we've
Okay.
got something in place with 2x across it, so I mean, it's.
I'd go nuts if I had to look at that orange every day, all day.
Makes it look like the sun's out.
that's right.
All right, now we heard from our girl at FEMA. Well, yeah, FEMA,
Excellent.
and they,
Good news.
they apologized for the delay.
They tacked on 10%.
Actually, they're giving us more than
The state part is.
Oh, I thought they were gonna
You're
get,
getting $14,033.77 for the CAD Z administrative costs, which
Yeah.
is Lance and I and all the work Lance did in the process. And the state portion is gonna be $72,973.88.
We can get a full-time police officer in.
Yeah.
Which comes up to 86,807.75.
Excellent.
I'd like to use some of that to do the paving on the avenue and the Academy Lane before they're dirt.
how much?
The the estimate I got this spring was 57, but that was an estimate, which would leave you about 30 grand. You know,
What do we have in the matching funds grant for paving?
I have no idea, but that's usually saved for the
Grants?
grants, but I did not.
So
get
you're
that.
saying you want to pay that all out of
I don't know what's in that grant.
44?
44?
Yeah.
And then that's 10,000 a year. That'd be 54. So I mean, there's actually more in there than we would need for a matching grant. 'Cause I think he was 140 to pave this mile.
I was gonna say you get this one to do it.
Yeah.
What are you considering for your next grant?
That one, this one
Yeah.
right here.
This stretch right here?
Yeah, the
Okay.
1 mile for the, it's
I
almost,
go up Perry's almost, yeah, I was gonna say goes close.
yeah, it was, I think he said it was 140 and then our match is
10% grant, 10% match, wasn't it?
10 or 20. So
Was it 20?
Even if it's 20, that's 12, that's
Just under
28.
30,000, yeah.
So I mean, and you got 40 and next year there'd be another 10, so that'd be 50. You took off 30. You still have 20 you could spend on this if you wanted to knock the number down. So, and that, like I said, that was one person giving me an estimate for prices. So.
We could put the rest toward this new equipment.
Yep.
So I have a question about that, how this will work. So this is FEMA money because of the storm back in 2019.
This was all the money that we paid out for the repairs came out of the road fund, so we have to put it back into the
Just
road. fund.
answer my question. Thank you very much. And the money that came out of the road fund wasn't earmarked for specific projects. It was,
No,
It was an emergency situation
Okay,
where
yeah.
we had to use money.
yeah, I just want to make sure that we didn't already take away from something that we should have spent money on. Perfect, thank you.
No, because we did take a loan from the bridge account, but that was paid back with the first round of FEMA funds.
yep,
And then we had
We've been
to-
trying, we've tried really hard to make sure that anything that, you know, if it was taken from here, as soon as we got a lump sum of money,
It went back.
that was paid first or.
Yep.
Yeah, so there was, and because this is all, I'm not gonna say
So it was-
extra, but it's stuff we've paid back. At this point, the other.
it was working in our favor because we had our own gravel supply.
That was, like I say, that was just
So it'd be-
I just asked him for a number for this.
For that
put it in the
gravel.
grant.
Sorry, huge conversation. We said by the time, you know.
Yeah, trust me, it's hard on the mic too.
Oh,
One conversation would be nice. One speaker, please.
So we had our own gravel supply. But FEMA will pay us or paid us for that gravel. And a good chunk of this extra money is because of that gravel.
What were you saying, Mac?
we would need the three bids.
Yeah.
This number was strictly, I had the Pike guy come up and just give me a number for the grant. You know, so I could put a number down.
That was this mile stretch from the four
Right, and
corners.
he also gave me the number for, I had him do both those at the same time, figuring if he was up here, you know.
I mean, at this point. I walk the avenue in the mornings. And I'm pretty sure if you get past Al's house, those ruts, I won't call them ruts. The divots, the tire tracks are, I'm gonna say close to 5 inches below
Oh, yeah.
grade of the road. So without a doubt, I think that road is in.
That one, I mean, it's worse from, like you say, from
beyond
Al's
Al's
up.
up, Yeah,
But I mean, if you're gonna do it, I mean, you might be able to get away with just a top coat on the first and then a shim and an overlay on there. But the Academy Lane is, especially right off the blacktop, is really dipped off.
yep. So how
And-
far does the Academy Lane go down the old Brigham House?
Actually, it goes right to the last.
It goes
trailer.
right to the intercept, right to the, okay.
This is trailers down there.
My other question on that one would be, are you going to haul in any gravel there? Because you guys still haul trucks in and out of there for debris,
For down the,
Academy Lane?
are we gonna draw any gravel down in there?
Well, I'm just saying, like, is there any spots where you think it should be built up a little bit?
I don't think so. I think you
No,
get a
okay.
shimmer and overlay, 'cause you get the one spot on the south side,
Yep,
just past the lilacs where the water kind of puddles there. I
yeah,
think if you get it up, I think it'll get off. And I think on the academy side, I think you get it up and it's gonna go off.
we also have an excavator if we need to,
Oh, yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely.
because I'm pretty sure that road has kind of
Oh, it's narrowed
come
up.
back in quite a
Needs to
bit.
be, yeah.
Um,
The only thing with those two roads are they're not class two, so they're not eligible for paving grants.
okay,
Where this one and the Boston Post are.
personal opinion, just throwing it out there, I say get the quotes and we see what we can do.
I agree.
Get the quotes, and if you can't do it, they can't do it, but
Right.
did you have the package from Pete's in there?
Yes.
Okay. Beauregard,
Is that, are we, just before we move on to
Yeah.
equipment, are we all on the same page there? Have them get the quotes and I don't know how quick you can get them, but we got 3 weeks till our next
Yeah.
meeting.
that's not
That
a
seems
problem.
like something that could almost be done this year, right?
Oh, I think so. I mean, depending upon, I mean, Pike might be too busy, but there was, I had a guy come in last year from,
Hungerford? It's a small one out of.
it was
St. Lawrence.
Hungerford, but there was, in Franklin, there was somebody,
Not Premier,
no,
throwing out all the names I got here.
Rex,
Rocks? Not
no, I
Rocks.
used to do,
rocks, you're right, rocks.
they used to do, excavation work. They still do excavation work,
Right.
but they've also, yeah, it is right.
So it is right.
But they've also started doing smaller paving jobs, and I mentioned that to him last year when he came in, and he said that's, we're trying to get established. And I think that might be give him a call and see what he says.
Yep. Some of those small companies like that, they might be a little cheaper because they don't
Might
have
be.
the overhead.
Might be less busy too at the
Yep.
moment.
Yeah, so let's, go ahead and
I'll
get the
get the
quotes on
numbers.
those.
That price right there is that price. He's working on the grader trade. Because at the time we were thinking maybe Waterville. Beauregard is coming in with one too, but he came last week, one time when I was out on the grader and talked to the boys, and he seemed quite interested more in the grader, I guess, from what I understand, than,
Okay.
which I don't think buy it, but but he is gonna come in with a number.
Yep. So I see there's two here, Mac.
There's actually three. There's a used, no, they're both on the same page. There's a new and a used 140 maybe,
Yes.
and a used 120, I think it is, whatever.
I don't see the 120 here. That's on the back.
No,
I'm not seeing the 120. The 120 is the one he has online for 109.
that's the 100, that's the 2.5 yarder.
Yeah, that was the smaller one that we weren't sure would work with the,
Right, but keep looking, you'll find it in there.
I'm sure it's probably in this 930 pamphlet
Might be on the side.
right there. Yeah, 106. So, I've stopped in and talked with Mac a couple times. This 940 is equivalent to what we have with a 3-yard bucket, same weight, same lift height. I wasn't sure, because I went down and talked to him, if lift height was gonna be an issue, because we have a ramp system built in the pit, which kind of makes it a little nicer for our trucks. You can see dumping in. But Mac said they also use it for feeding the screener. And he's not sure with this one only having a 2.5 yard bucket. It'd be a lot more,
You'd lose a little time.
you'd lose
Yeah.
time.
Makes sense.
Yeah, the only problem is we're looking at like,
Quite a difference.
yeah, quite a difference. So this is a 2021 with 400 hours on it, 2.5 yard bucket for 106 minus our loader coming in at 86,000. These two over here, we're looking at 165 and 185,000. This one's a 165 because it's got just under 300 hours. It's last year's model, 3-yard bucket.
145.
145. So I mean, you're talking, pretty substantial difference.
Mhm.
I don't know if we can kick in 30,000 from the FEMA funds, that would help.
Yep,
yeah,
plus it's getting what you have.
What did we-
Instead of going smaller.
yeah.
I'm not sure too, but with that mower, if that would make any difference, probably wouldn't, but.
So, yeah, that's the other thing. So we asked him to, does anybody want to look at these specifically? So that's the,
Smaller one.
that's the specs for that machine, and this is the paperwork with the specs for this machines. So the other thing that we had him quote out was the boom attachment that I'm sure you've seen the state running around with on 136 and such. Boom mower hooks right onto the front. Hydraulic driven. He gave us a quote on that as well.
And we can. What was this, 9,000?
Or what's that?
The rental,
Yeah.
Yeah.
10.5.
10.5.
Yeah, right here. Yeah, 10.5.
I mean, that, instead of budgeting for that, we could put that towards $10,000 a year towards the cost of the bucket loader.
So if we buy the 23-foot mower, the 50-foot boom, or sorry, 50-inch boom mower, and the hooks for the Volvo, it's 108,000. If we buy it at the same time as the loader, he'll deduct $5,000. I'm gonna have to talk to him because freaking couldn't even do 10%. Bastard. Sorry, excuse my language, but brings it down to 103. So that means if you buy the $165,000 rig, or sorry, the $185,000 rig for $165,000,
Right.
you can add another 103,000 on.
If you're gonna do that, though, you might as well go with the used one of
It
those.
says if you buy the new loader.
I'd go with the 2023 940.
I bet you could get him to do it on the other one too.
I would hope
Unless
so.
the other one doesn't have the quick detach bucket, you know, what I mean, the pool carrier.
Well, it does say, yeah,
Yeah.
with Volvo ISO coupler.
Okay, so
Yeah.
So yeah, it would fit either one of those machines.
And we're doing a payment on that, so it's not
We would
up
do-
front with all of it. is what
Right,
you're saying.
no, I think what we had discussed was we would
Same
do
down.
a lump sum. Well, I was thinking it was gonna come in at about 170,000 for the pair, 180,000 for the pair.
how much did you have in the equipment fund?
107.
107 there, and then
Good enough to pay for the mower.
But I thought we were using the equipment fund for the new truck.
Yeah.
Partially for the new truck. We keep going back to the equipment fund. We need to figure out what exactly we're planning to use it for. We can't keep saying it's for everything. So
right.
what are we using it for?
Well, we've got quotes on stuff and we're trying to figure out what's gonna be the best unit for the town. Right now, the truck needs a repair, not a replacement. The loader theoretically needs a replacement, not a repair. I mean,
All right.
we're talking about a machine, it's a 99. It's been used, it's held up pretty well, but when I was down there the other day, you know, the stuff that can't be repaired, the cab corners, the steel is just, it's starting to rust off.
Yeah.
And before that starts to cause us more problems than it's worth.
You could obviously get another year out of it.
You probably,
What are you gonna pay in repairs?
Right.
so that's the.
As far as the mower goes.
Yep,
We're paying 10,000 a year to rent.
correct,
This is gonna cost 103.
103.
So that's, will it last 10 years with no repairs?
Yeah. Not without. It'll last 10 years, no problem.
Okay.
Without repairs. Any kind of equipment like that is gonna require.
The
maintenance.
10,000 for the minor. I just want to be sure that this is actually cost effective, because these are big numbers. isn't it?
Absolutely.
It's, yeah, well, look at it, one way to look at it is we bought that loader new in 99. It's lasted, what is that? That's 25 years now.
Okay.
Minimal repairs,
I would say.
I would say. I feel like I wouldn't say no repairs, but minimal repairs on that machine.
Yeah.
It's, I feel in my usage of equipment, I feel like that machine has.
It gets
Yeah,
used.
I'm
more than
I'm
twice
actually
of
not
itself.
concerned about the loader, it's the mower that I'm
Yeah,
thinking that could raise some eyebrows, because optically it's like, why do we need our own? So I think we need to be able to really justify
well,
how that, I mean, I can't right now because I
Right.
don't know enough, but.
well, the other hand of that, yes, I can see exactly what you're saying is, we just bought $100,000 more, why did we need that? Drive down Boston Post Road.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that that justifies everything, but,
The three.
Petersburg bought one, when did they buy that boom mower? 8 years ago, 9 years ago,
I don't know if they might have got it with the new grader.
with the new grader, so probably 10 then.
Yeah.
And their roadsides are not.
No. They're not approached.
So what we're saying here is we rent for 2 weeks a year, is that?
Yeah.
And so our mowing is.
This is the first time we've done it.
Yeah,
But
What would you be able to do
Well,
optimally?
I don't know how much we'd be able, that's, ask me in 3 weeks and I'll tell you what we got done. I'm thinking it would probably take 2 years to get it done the first time.
Where it needs to be.
And then after that, it would be more of a maintenance, routine.
To do, to be able to do the ditching that they need to. do.
Right.
And are there areas that we are not mowing adequately or enough, even with the rented machine?
Yeah.
this, so
That's
this
correct.
is, as Max said, this is the first year we have rented this machine for 2 years.
Right.
In years past, we've contracted it out. And
Yeah,
at half the price.
More
Because, yeah,
and there have been lots of complaints.
lots of complaints. So what we're
Too
hoping
early,
to
too
do,
late, I
yeah.
I do.
so what we're
remember.
hoping to do. Well, what we were hoping to do was save the money of this rental
Mhm.
to put towards a purchase. When we were under the assumption that this rig would cost 50 to 70,000, not over 100. If we can do that. Like Max said, you've got 2 years of getting everything where you need
Need it
it
to be.
in town. And at that point, it would be basic maintenance. You could, with this machine. I would see. Mowing could be done a couple times a year.
Yeah.
Because it's not gonna take you nearly as long to cover the ground. We're looking at.
Some of them you wouldn't have to do every year either.
Right.
Some of them are gonna take, you're gonna have to go out with a chainsaw and chipper and cut the brush before you can put that thing on it.
Whereas
This year,
I'm willing to bet to buy that tractor and mower that you're leasing is going to be close to the cost of what you're paying to that.
if the contract's in there, it's got the price on it and it's up there.
Yeah.
will they take the grader and trade?
He's working on it. He's taking both of them in trade, but right now he only has the price on the loader.
That's helpful.
Yeah, I mean, if we can get the optics of the grader out of there,
And that would definitely help.
that would definitely help. We keep adding equipment. We're not getting rid of equipment. People are gonna start torquing something left and right.
Yep.
I agree.
And is this our only option? Are there, I mean, have you?
No, like I said, Beauregard Equipment, who sells cases coming in. I don't know if they do the mower.
Okay,
I know Pete's is a dealer for that Diamond, and that Diamond is a very, or not, is it Diamond? Yeah.
Yeah, Diamond. So realistically,
Really
if,
heavily built.
if Case comes in cheaper here
Mhm.
on the loader. Then it wouldn't be that big of a deal
Yep.
to pay the $5,000 because we didn't buy the loader from them.
yeah.
You know, I mean, they're
Right.
definitely,
That unit will fit any.
right,
doesn't
it's just,
have to
it's
be
just a
different
quick
things.
We
disconnect
just have
system,
to have
yeah.
the disconnect, yes.
Mac,
Don't we need three? Don't we need three quotes?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's working on it.
Mac, this one doesn't say if it's hooks for, is this the self-contained unit or is this the loader powered unit that he quoted us here?
I have no idea.
It doesn't
I
say,
don't.
there's no Diamond
I would
23 foot
imagine it's
wheel.
Self-contained, but
Right, so I wonder if a hydraulic loader driven unit would be cheaper. You know, cause if you're buying the self-contained unit,
Right,
you're buying another diesel motor.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's easily 10 grand there,
Yeah.
plus the hydraulics, plus the, you know, the hydraulic pumps, the cooling systems. all that.
I do know that when Enosburg got theirs on the grader, they had to put a separate pump on.
They did,
They had to put that.
The
Great.
pump wasn't big enough.
right, but I mean, even if it's a pump, I mean, it's not gonna be a, I don't think it's gonna be a $20,000 pump,
Probably
but.
not.
No,
So I think that would be my one question. If you could ask Mike if that's which unit he's talking about, the self-contained unit or the loader powered unit.
So is that a PTO driven? Is that what you're saying, Josh?
Hydraulic.
Yeah, hydraulic driven. I don't
the
know.
one uses hydraulics from the unit itself and the other one has its own
Probably can't.
diesel engine. It'll run it.
I can't zoom in, Josh, but thanks.
Yeah, with no additional engine to maintain this mark can be easily turn branches from either left or right side. Oh, that one's switchable too. Yeah, I think that would be the biggest question at this point because. Well, for obvious reasons, if it's significantly cheaper.
Yeah.
And it does the same job.
And depending
Why did he
upon,
quote that to begin with?
depending upon what we get done with the rental this year, I mean, you could buy the loader if you wanted to and wait on the,
You could, yeah.
I mean,
Right.
because things aren't gonna grow
Right.
bigger.
You
very
hope,
quick,
yeah.
but that'll depend upon how much I
Okay.
get done.
So. And John, when you come in, to sign the papers that you need to, if you want to look through that, it's all in this blue folder, it says Pete's on the
Okay.
front.
Thank you.
And I'll put, so each one of these has the quote inside it for the different sized machines and stuff, so.
Okay,
And aside, John, the mortgage agreement, I'll put that in the trustee bin right beside the select board bin.
okay. Thank you.
Okay.
You got a lot to remember.
Yeah,
Hope he's taking notes.
sure I am. Wait, let me,
He's gonna
There
go
you
back
go, I
and watch
grabbed the pen.
Yeah, he's gonna go back and watch the video again.
Right.
Do you think it would be worth trying out the 930? Or do you think it's just not big enough?
I don't know if it'd be big enough, especially with that loader on the front with the
Okay,
thing on the.
if it can even run that loader,
Yeah.
yeah.
He is, when he picks up the mowing machine, he's gonna bring up the 940, just the used one, just to
Okay,
let us play with it.
okay.
I told him he didn't have to, but
They have a site there too, so if you
Yeah, I
want to
know.
go try them side by side,
Yeah.
maybe give them a call and
that's true.
then you could see like what the power difference is, what the lift height is.
Yeah.
Right.
If the bucket's really gonna make that big of a difference. I mean, half a yard's only what?
Only half a yard.
It's only half a yard. Well, I mean, realistically though, I mean, it's less than the size of that freezer.
It only takes 4 buckets to catch back up.
I know what you're saying. Maybe you can put a bigger bucket on it and just bob.
Yeah.
there you go.
Just what you wanna do.
Yeah. Okay,
It's nice when you pick up a bucket that the back end doesn't come up.
just need more counterweights. No,
I
okay.
got an answer for everything, Josh.
Just trying to save some money.
Oh, I know. I'm a taxpayer too.
Yeah, I know. That's the best part about this is, you know we need this stuff, but we all have to pay for it too, so. Any other questions on the equipment?
No, any updates on job applications we heard in?
We do have another job application.
Okay.
And that was one of the things that we talked about at the last meeting. And Max said that we should probably pull Brian in. And discuss with him
I agree.
what his future looks like, what he's hoping to get out of this.
Mhm.
Yeah, the other guy is very local and. He has his class A at this
You
point.
did get it?
Yep. Yep.
Good.
We had a cancellation, so we ended up getting him in the next week to go and take it, so he passed, no problems. Once the nerves get out of your way, you can do a lot of
Yeah.
things, you know, so
Yeah.
he was ready before, just nerves. Yeah, I mean, I guess we gotta talk with Brian and see what his ideas are, what he's thinking. Realistically, I've said it before, and it's my personal opinion, but
Agree.
with the equipment that we have,
Yep.
I think you could run a 3.5 man crew.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think you would accomplish a lot more.
Especially now that we picked up the mowing.
If the
Right,
park and stuff,
right.
it just helps.
Well, I
with
mean,
those
just,
things.
I mean, it's just like anything. I mean,
Right.
we all had kids. When you had 3 kids at your house, somebody was always out,
Right.
you know? So if you've got 4 guys working, you've got 2 teams, you got 2
Yeah.
people that can go. You're doubling what you can accomplish, really.
I'm not sure how much you're gonna do with truck number 2 at the moment. You know, with that. if
Truck
you-
2, is that the big tandem?
You know, I don't know if that's gonna be able to go.
I've spoken with multiple other people.
Uh-huh,
My initial idea
okay,
is what a lot of people are thinking should happen.
okay.
It's a little cryptic.
You can
It's
make,
very cryptic.
Yeah.
you can make it,
So-
happen.
One second.
If it's not cryptic now.
Well, it's just,
you can make it happen.
Yes.
so the government has completely effed up all diesel motors with
death.
their DEF system and carbon catching
Mhm.
systems, which, you know, it is what it is. There are ways around the government stipulations. But the ways around those make that truck so that when it was time for it to be sold, it couldn't be traded back to a dealer.
Right.
It would have to be a private sale.
Right.
However, in making those adjustments away from the government restrictions, suggestions,
Mhm.
makes that vehicle more valuable to
Someone else.
other entities,
And it runs.
and it runs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any more questions on that? I can fill you in at a later date.
Yes, we don't need to waste,
Yeah.
spend more time.
Yeah.
I do have a question about this 0.5 position idea,
Yes.
which makes sense and I can hear what you're saying. I do. Question's the wrong word, but I'd like us to look at, is that 0.5 position going to be doing the exact same job at that rate? Or is there what mowing, for example? I'm assuming there are some skilled jobs and some less skilled jobs.
Right.
Is there a way of creating that position so that it essentially
Sounds
costs less?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. It really 100% depends on the season.
Mhm.
During the winter months, that 0.5 person would be doing the same job as the full timers.
Yep.
During the summer, there is that chance, well, it all depends on how they work it too.
Right.
If, let's just say Brian goes to the 0.5 position just because I can put his name out there. If, say, Mac is taking Monday and Tuesday off, so we need coverage, we could call Brian, the 0.5 position, to come in and fill in for Mac's position, doing exactly what Mac would do.
Yeah.
If we're running a ditching crew and need somebody to go run a mower, whether it be the rented mower or a boom mower on our payloader, that person is going to be doing the same work that a normal employee would do.
Mhm.
If the Brigham Academy lawn needs to be mowed and the town green out here needs to be mowed and we call somebody in. Yeah, it's kind of gonna suck to pay, you know, $20 to $25 for somebody to come in and mow a lawn for a day.
Yeah.
There is also.
Oh, we're doing that now.
We are doing that now.
So I think, I just think it's worth some exploration so that we can say, yeah, we looked at it and
Yeah.
this is why we're doing it this
Yeah.
way, so that we can. And again, I'm going to use that phrase, justify it. Someone asks me why you're doing this,
Yeah.
I need to be able to say,
Yep,
this is why.
yep,
Plus, if it works out and I retire, you've already got your 3.5, your 2.5, your 3-man crew.
Right.
right.
You know what I mean? And then if it didn't work out, well, then
Right.
you don't hire a half a man.
Right.
So
That's true.
they'd have, the third person would have the more experience, you know what I'm saying?
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Or the
Insurance.
fourth person, or a
Yeah,
half,
the
whichever one.
Depending on who's in the 0.5 position,
Right.
Yes, I was just gonna say that's.
because we
yes.
have some employees that don't require insurance at this point.
Right.
Oh, I was talking,
Yeah.
sorry, we were having a side conversation. If we hired a
Some.
high school kid to mow,
Do just.
Oh.
we can't because they have to have insurance.
They have to be,
Not if they're considered a part-time employee.
right,
Right.
that's
If
what.
they're under 32 hours, I think it is, isn't it? I
Yeah.
could be wrong.
I think
I
it's
think
a
it-
yearly
Is it a
number,
yearly number?
yeah.
Right.
But if you're gonna do more, you might as well just contract that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's the other thing.
Yeah. Could you hear what he said, John?
If we mow, we could contract that.
If we contracted it,
Right.
you know, I mean, what was the contract that we were gonna pay for the village green to be mowed?
You hadn't got that far yet. That was supposed to be next year.
Right, but it was, yeah, it included the cemetery, and what was it a year?
It's 5,000 for the common and this.
9,000, and I bet they would mow the Brigham Green a lot less.
Yeah.
For a lot less money than they would mow
Yeah,
the
they just-
freaking headstones over
Yeah.
here. So I mean. 9
It's worth
grand,
exploring then.
Yeah.
See if that's.
but I mean, for 9 grand, you're not gonna get. Much work out of a 0.5 employee.
And it allows your people to do
No.
more of the road stuff.
That allows your crew to do more road stuff. Yeah, I agree. No, yes, there are a lot of questions and. I mean, it's without a doubt, we're gonna have to have a pros and cons list and. List, weighing options and stuff. It's like,
And when you find.
it's like your teacher voodoo you have over there.
When you find somebody that's retired next year, you might pick up a long job.
Yeah,
Somebody who lives close by and has 0-turn mower.
Give me $100.
Yeah, well, if you figure if you figure a half-time employee doing 20 hours a week at $20 an hour is $400 a week into 9 grand, that's like 22 weeks of mowing.
Yeah.
We don't even have 22 weeks of warmth.
Oh, really?
Just saying,
Well, we could add snow blowing the sidewalk to that too.
that's true. Snow blowing, yeah, you know, there's a lot of different activity, but just doing quick math there, it's like 22, 23 weeks. Of somebody at $20 an hour for 20 hours a week.
Yeah.
Just gonna put it in the
Insurance
Pete's.
and the whole works.
Yeah. I was just asking if this needs to be signed or if it's already been taken care of, but that's all set. Just gonna put that in there with the Pete's stuff.
I sign your name on it.
Perfect. Jim Bob. Any other road stuff? Grader sale, you said they're both coming to look at it.
Supposedly he still wants to look at it, but I haven't, oh,
Okay.
not water bill, but yeah.
Okay.
Mike is working a number and Beauregard is supposed to be getting me numbers on that.
I heard that Waterville subcontracts out all their town road work.
They did.
They did. They're
And then they had that antique grader that sat in the corner over there.
right.
Yeah,
Right.
so.
Yeah.
He had talked, it was, well, I believe his last name was Locks.
It was.
He talked about, he talked to the select board and they were thinking maybe it's time to do something, so.
Okay. Well. All right, so
Mac, did we brand our grader yet?
take the Johnson off, put the Bakersfield on.
We took the Johnson off. We haven't put the Bakersfield on yet.
Can you still read the word Johnson in the paint?
If you really look at it closely, where the paint is faded, you know, outside of it,
No, I know, I'm just saying.
cut them off.
Get the Johnson off the side of the grader. would you?
Shut his mic off.
Yeah.
Why is he go?
Yeah, buy a decal. All right, no other others on roads, anybody?
No other others.
I think we can mute him though.
Just uninvite him to the meeting.
Any updates on that? He muted himself. Yep.
No MERP updates. Alex gave us it earlier. It's still showing sometime soon.
Town website update. I did get one from, do you want to read it?
No, unless you want me to read it.
No. SJ just wanted to let us know that she is gonna have a meeting with Kathy tomorrow and we'll send an update about the site after that. So
Perfect.
that's about as updated as we can
That's
get.
great.
Set municipal tax rate, we already did that. Fire grant service, we took care of that. Warrants and reports have been discussed. Review the mail.
No, man.
No mail?
Somebody steal my new mail? Okay, no mail. Brigham Academy?
Bad news, we did not get the village trust grant. Good news, the submission for the planning grant has all been submitted. So it's a matter of time, just wait. till they decide to pay us back. You know how that works.
Yep.
It could be next year.
And then, how much did you say we had coming in off that? 40?
About 40.
Okay. We had talked about that money also possibly being available if we wanted to run. If we looked into the police.
Yep, that one goes into the general fund.
Right. Any others on board business?
A very quick update on the Belvedere Mountain Road.
Yep.
Conversations this week and last week with Tim, Joel.
Yep.
Ewing Fox.
Yep.
Charlie,
Hancock.
thank you. He's the. I'm not sure if he's the interim county forester or the permanent, but he's the guy at the moment. So I had a conversation with him on Friday. Hancock. And then Dave Wilcox, who is the watershed forester, has had a long conversation with Ewing as of today, and they're discussing the water bars and
Excellent.
what those need to be in order to meet the forestry standards. So it sounds like that will be happening soon. And Mac, I believe you talked. Yes, you told us last meeting that you had talked to
What's Ewing's last name?
Fox.
Fox.
Oh, and the other part, and it's not to do with the road, but when in talking with Ewing today, I think we're going to establish loosely an education committee, which will be around education. Those other pieces that we talked about, letting people know where the road is, putting up some signage, those kinds of things. And he gave me another couple of names of people who are interested in helping. So.
All right. That has good forward movement. I like to hear that.
Yeah.
I really hope that David, right, Wilcox?
Yeah.
I'm really hoping that there's an app on your phone that, in my opinion, it's the AMPs, which are the best management practices for water in the forestry setting.
Apparently he wrote them.
Yeah, he did.
So.
And then he taught me how to use them and how to teach them to my students. So the guy's awesome.
That's great.
It's an app you can download, and I really hope he shows it to these guys because I think this could solve a lot of the problems.
I will call him with that. What is the app?
AMP.
Oh,
Let's see if I can find it here. Right there, Vermont AMP.
okay.
And if he shows them how to use that, it's friggin' amazing.
Okay.
Any others?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Absolutely not.
No. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
John West says aye.
John West said aye.
Feel better, John.
We are adjourned.